Good afternoon. Welcome to Lancaster Connects, show about small business and small charity success right here in Lancaster County. Flying solo today. Jeff flew solo last week. I was out of town. Maybe I'm a little more tan. I was in Mexico. I had a great time. Little trip away with my wife, Lindsay, without the kids. So that was fun. It was been a long time since we've had some, a little vacation away. So that was very nice. Thank you to Jeff for holding down the fort, the Lancaster Connects fort. But he's actually on a virtual presentation today. He is. Some of our listeners know that Jeff and I do some other things beyond the four walls here of Gardner's Mattress and More, where we produce Lancaster Connects. And Jeff is a sought after presenter and speaker. So we've authored a number of books, and he has been invited to speak this afternoon on a virtual presentation. So he's doing that. We wish him well. I think it's a 2 to 3 hour presentation. So he said he's got his water and he went to the bathroom and he's ready to go for his 3 hours. So you've only got me for an hour. So but we're gonna have a great show. Again, Lancaster Connects, show about small business and small charity success right here in Lancaster County. We highlight great nonprofits and charitable organizations making a difference and an impact in the community, and also small businesses doing the same thing. We've got a great nonprofit today. We'll bring them on the show in just a little bit. We do prizes. We'd love to hear from you during the show. If you enter something in the chat, in the comment window here, you can do that on Facebook. You can do that on LinkedIn. You can do that on YouTube. Give me a comment. Tell me what you like about the show. Ask our guest a question. We love that. Gives us more things to talk about with our guests, get a little deeper into the conversation there. I'd love to hear from you during the show. We give away prizes at the end. We'll spin what we call the prizelator. It's a virtual prize wheel. And if you've made a comment, you're on the prize wheel per se. And you can win one of our nice little less nor more cuddle drinkware items. If you're the winner, you just come in and say, hey, you won on the show, and we'll give you your gift. Or should I say choice of gift? Also, this on-the-go bundle here. It's a little travel pillow and blanket. Nice thing to take with you in the car, on little trips to Mexico, wherever you go. Couple little gifts there. Just enter a comment, again, wherever you watch, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, on both the Gardner's Mattress and More and Lancaster Connects, Facebook and YouTube pages, and of course, LinkedIn as well. Without further ado, we're going to bring our guest on. We've got today Jose Lopez from the Spanish American Civic Association, also known to many Lancastrians as SACA. So Jose, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ben, thanks. Hey, I your promo there with being in Mexico. I'm actually going there this week myself with my wife for a little respite.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Where are you?
We tend to wrap our birthdays and our anniversary into a trip that we take each year around this time of the year. And so we're going to head to Playa del Carmen, which is in the Riviera Maya region of Mexico, just Cancun. And
that's where we were.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to go there and hopefully do enjoy some sun and respite. And so that's what I'll be doing.
That's awesome. So are you doing like a all-inclusive resort sort of thing, or?
Nah, see, in my prior life, before I came back to Lancaster, because I grew up here and then decided to move at some point in the early 2000s to go pursue a career in commercial real estate. We moved to Florida, and one of the jobs that I had was evaluating real estate, commercial real estate in particular.
Yeah.
And one of my jobs involved appraising hospitality properties and specifically resort properties in Mexico and in the Caribbean. I mean, that was a cool job. I would show up and do an inspection. It would take about 2 days to do that. And so I learned about the different places in the Cancun market to go to, from that experience. And one of them was actually Cancun and also, Playa del Carmen and Tulum, where the ruins are. Where I've been making a point to try to go and hit those up with my wife whenever we can.
That's awesome. Well, if you're looking for sun and relaxation, there's a lot of it to be had.
Oh, yeah.
No question. We had a great time. Went to the Ishkare Park, which a lot of people are familiar with, visiting down there. Did some reef snorkeling, saw their big presentation, kind of the history of Mexico and stuff like that. It was really, really great time. And everything was very, very well done. So I hope you have a nice vacation, safe travel, all of that. Yep. So, thanks for being on the show. I think you said you grew up in Lancaster. Is that correct? Is that what you just said?
Yes. I came here when I was about 8 years old. And so my family had come to Lancaster in the early to mid 70s. And we moved here from Puerto Rico. And people think, why did you move to Lancaster from Puerto Rico? It just seems like a faraway place to want to come to. But when my father was in his late teens, early 20s, he used to come to Lancaster in the mid 50s and 60s to be a migrant worker, specifically to pick tobacco in Smoketown. And so he forever thought, hey, I'm going to move my family there someday. And so it took to about, the mid 70s for that to happen. My other uncle, one of my uncles also was doing that with my father. They had relocated to Lancaster probably in the 60s. And so that's the connection. And so my family then decided to follow that. And that's how I ended up. I actually ended up coming to the neighborhood where SACA is actually mainly located. And
that's cool.
And so my exposure to SACA in those times was they helped my family actually acclimate to Lancaster, to life in Lancaster, helped my family navigate getting us enrolled in school and helped us establish our permanency here in Lancaster. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So
that's fantastic.
And this organization since I was little. And of course, our main facility that's at 545 Pershing Avenue, that's called the Centro Hispano, or the Spanish Center, is our first facility that SACA has and had operating from. I used to go in there and run around in that facility. And our founder and current CEO, Mr. Carlos Popero, used to chase us out of there. And I remember then going back to my house, because my house, the backyard, backed up to the property, and I would just go throw stones and things at the windows, trying to protest
being a kid,
being evicted from running around. So today I guess that's a part of a karma thing, and so here I am now, many years later, having this opportunity to be the leader and face of this organization.
That's awesome. That's an incredible story.
Yeah.
So we're going to hop into everything that you do there at SACA. SACA stands for, of course, the Spanish American Civic Association. But I wanted to jump back, and so you said your family came in the mid 70s to Lancaster, and after working for a little bit in Lancaster, what was it about Lancaster that drew them in? The culture, the farmland, like what was it about Lancaster that really made him call Lancaster home?
I think it was the opportunities that existed here. And so, I'm one of 10 children. So my other 5 younger siblings that came here with my parents, would then have an opportunity to prosper here, to learn English properly and get a really well-rounded education, which we all took advantage of and were able to prosper ourselves. And so I think that was one of the reasons. Plus my other family members were here. So it provided that opportunity to be close to other family as well.
Yeah, that's great. That makes sense. No question. There's a lot of opportunities here, right here in Lancaster.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right. So let's get into SACA a little bit. You are the president of the Spanish American Civic Association, also known as SACA.
Yep.
Tell us, what is SACA? Mission, values, that sort of thing.
So SACA is a 50-year community development organization that has been in place now, like I said, 50 years with various programs. Today we do five basic things that we tout about, which we'll talk about when we get to that part of our conversation. But today SACA's mission is to uplift and restore marginalized communities through human, economic, and social services while supporting cultural identities. Our vision for this community is SACA supports communities that are supported by SACA, I should say, are all inclusive and empowered to prosper through sustained social and economic transformation, and the belief that diversity is to be embraced and celebrated. We also have core values that actually spell an acronym that pays homage to our history of our first facility, El Centro Hispano, or the Spanish Center. So we devised an acronym for Centro and our core value system. So we're committed. We are the partner and ally within our community members as we strive for success. We're empowering, which is the E part of Centro. Through our actions, resources, and support, we inspire others to identify and fulfill their unique purpose in our community. We're neighbors, which is the end in Centro. We nurture hope, compassion, and human dignity to provide help to all. We're together, the T in Centro. We seek a unified community where all opportunities, where all have an opportunity to advance. We're resourceful, the R in Centro. We leverage our resources and pursue new opportunities to serve one another. And then the O part of Centro is we're outcomes driven. Our success is built on active leadership that turns visionary ideas into tangible results. And, when I first came back here, which is 3 years ago, that I assumed the position that I'm in, as we transition the leadership from our founder and CEO to me this year, it's going to be at the end of June. He's going to retire from his at SACA, and I will assume the president and CEO role here.
Great.
Yep. And so we did strategic planning, a new mission and vision and core values atonement. We also did a strategic plan that we're working off of to implement some of the changes that the board and the staff saw needed to occur within the organization.
So a couple things there. Chris, our producer, I cast ahead, producer for Lancaster Connect show. I was running a video there, and I think it was you walking with Carlos. Is that?
Yeah, that's Mr. Copera. Yes. Yep.
Okay. And he was the person who was yelling at you for throwing rocks at the windows back.
Absolutely. Yeah. He used to chase me
40 years ago.
That's him. Yes.
That's him. All right. So, and he's the founder of SACA?
He's the founder and our current CEO. Yes.
Okay. And he's who's retiring in June. That's awesome.
I mean, that guy, his leadership here is what's created this awesome organization that provides tremendous benefits to this community. Yep.
Can you share maybe why he started it? Why he started SACA and kind of how he went about doing that?
Sure. So, since the early 40s, I would say, diverse groups have found hope and opportunity here in the Lancaster prosperous region. And so one of those groups was the Latino community that today about represents 40% of the population in Lancaster City. And, this extraordinary statistic reflects a vigorous pattern of growth over the decades. So in direct response to this pattern, the Spanish American Civic Association, known as SACA today, was established, to help this growing population assimilate to life in Lancaster. As I said, my family benefited from that first years of SACA and in assimilating to life here. And so that was the original intent of a group of leaders in the community that sought the need to do that as the population of Latinos was growing here particular in the southeast section of the city of Lancaster. Today the mission of SACA is to really uplift and restore marginalized communities, like I said, through to human, economic, and social services, while supporting cultural identities. So today we're a partner for all, no matter what nationality you are, what your upbringing has been. You can be yellow, green, or blue. It doesn't matter. If you need access to the services that we provide, we're here to assist you in helping you, transform your life and become an active participant in the Lancaster community.
That's great. Lena Hohenadel, I think I've got that name pronounced right, just said that SACA has done so much for the community for so long. Lena represents a great charity downtown Lancaster, off the streets, helping provide housing and furnishings. We donate a fair amount of furniture, mattresses, beds, that sort of thing to them. So she's a supporter of SACA, as I'm sure many people are. So you are like the perfect person to be in this role of president, to take the reins from Carlos. Like you said, you and your family benefited from the services so many years ago, and really saw the organization from and the help from that standpoint. Was that part of the reason why you wanted to be in this role coming in 3 years ago, to help people that were like your family all those years ago?
Well, that's definitely part of it, but also I had a prior stint here. Well, when I was younger, in the late 90s to early 2000s, I was involved in our development entity as we developed our home ownership initiative, and also we embarked on renovating a prominent building in our neighborhood called the General Cigar property, or General Cigar building, that today is an affordable housing complex of 30 affordable housing units that provides housing to families that live at 40 and 50% of median income. And so I oversaw that development, and then that ended in 2002. And then that was when I decided to pursue a career in commercial real estate, mostly in the valuation field. That took me to Florida, eventually brought me back to Pennsylvania, to Philadelphia. And then I also then ventured into a financial sector, managing collateral risk for financial institutions, dealing with real estate, commercial real estate in particular. And so I was worked for Susquehanna Bank when it was Susquehanna Bank, and we set up a collateral risk function in that institution that didn't have one prior to a team of individuals coming in, of which I was one of them. And so then when they got bought up by BB&T, I went and worked to BB&T for a little bit. And then I had an opportunity to set up a similar function like we did at Susquehanna in a bank in Southern California in Orange County. And so my wife and I picked up and left Philadelphia in 2016. Spent some time in Southern California doing exactly what I did with Susquehanna Bank. And so I had that experience of being in different places, looking at different structures, that actually allowed me then to come back here to do this. When Mr. Grappera called me, I think it was, late, 2019, before the COVID started. that he was thinking of, initiating a secession, and the board was interested in talking to me about my availability and potential. I thought about it. Actually, it took about 6 months to have a conversation with everyone and for me to make a decision to come here. And so my wife and I said, COVID started. We're like, let's go do that. That sounds like the right next thing for you. And because of my history here, I felt that I needed to do that. Plus, in addition to that, Mr. Gopera, while he had chased me out of that building, after that, when I had gotten done with my schooling and education and I moved back to Lancaster, I sought him out, and he became a mentor to me. And so what not a befitting of me taking over for my mentor and doing the work that he's done here for 50 years and pushing forth our organization to continue to have the impact that it's had on many lives in our community.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I just, virtually here, I can feel your heart for the organization and the people of Lancaster, and to be able to continue Carlos's vision for SACA and continue the mission and all that. That's fantastic. I wish you a lot of luck in this journey here. Let's dig into what SACA does specifically. Some of the programs. I know you have behavioral health program or services, education and prevention services, and a number of other things. Let's dig into some of those.
Sure, we can talk about that, because that's what we were going to talk about. The 5 things that we do, 5 or 6 things that we're involved in our community here. So yes, we have a long-standing behavioral health programming that's in 3 different components, and our components are all in Spanish and English language. And so we were cognitive of the issue that existed 35 some years ago when we started these programs, that if you had a drug and alcohol addiction issue and a mental health issue, and you had limited English speaking capacity, you were not going to get those services. And so we sought out to establish a bilingual program to help those in our community that had those issues. And so we started an outpatient drug and alcohol and mental health clinic called Nuestra Clínica, or our clinic. That's the Spanish of what that means in English. And so we started that, and it's operational today. It operates out of our facility at 545 Pershing Avenue. And so we see a tremendous amount of folks that need those services. Along the way, we also felt the need that there was a need for an inpatient treatment module for drug and alcohol 30, 60, 90-day rehab facility that we operate up on East New Street and Duke Street now for over 30 years for adult Spanish speakers, male only. And that program is in existence now, like I said, for 30 some years now. And we're getting ready to do a renovation there and actually expand it. And so there we have a 26-bed facility that basically addresses this issue. So like I said earlier, 30 years ago, those folks that needed that type of service, language, there was no place in Pennsylvania that offered that. And so when you had that issue, you were basically, if you got incarcerated, that's where you were getting your drug rehab treatment. And so we saw a big need for that. And so we developed this facility. Part of our expansion plan is to bring in a bilingual track to that program and increase the bed capacity to 40. And so that's the other component. We also have a halfway house called La Casa, or the house. That's a transition from either being incarcerated and or a drug rehab facility. Those run about 60-day stays, and so that helps the individuals get assimilated back into life, either from prison or from a drug rehab facility. And And then they're also able to access any other services that we have here at our organization, which we're going to cover in a little bit here as we talk about our workforce initiative, Health Tech Central. But yeah, those are the three main components of our behavioral health program. And we do have a recovery house program that's basically people that are ready to be assimilated and need a place to live. So we provide them with an apartment where they can live, or a house with other mates, and as they continue in their recovery path, and they have jobs and are doing what they need to do to get ahead.
That's awesome. And I see Chris has got the information there on the screen. Yep. Looks like there's a phone number to call, or if somebody's in need of help. And I'm sure your website too, what he's got on the screen there, SACAPA.org. Is that the best place to go if you're looking for these services?
Absolutely. And that's where you would go if you want to be a supporter and want to make a donation, or want to be a volunteer, or ask any questions you have about the work that we're involved in.
Yep. That's awesome.
So let's talk some more about the programs. I mean, our education prevention services program is a program that got established late 80s, early 90s when we had the AIDS epidemic affecting the community. And again, there was no program in place to help and educate folks in the Spanish-speaking community that had a deficiency in being able to communicate in English, access help for these needs. Today, that program is a case management program that helps folks with HIV, and it's anybody in our community now. It's not Spanish speakers. It's anybody, and we serve a multitude of folks with the AIDS virus that's in them, and we help them navigate systems to be able to access the newer medicines that exist to help you get longevity. But it's also an education and prevention program that serves young folks in our schools with regard to sexually transmitted diseases and testing. And so we have that as well in our clinic here. So if you set up an appointment, you come and we'll draw your blood and get you tested for sexually transmitted diseases, so we can get you help with whatever you might be encountering.
Right. That's great that you have these services offered.
One of my favorite things is the Senior Center, which is a long partnership that we've had with the Office of Aging in the county here in Lancaster. Okay. And so on a daily basis during the week, 5 days out of the week, we encounter about 70 to 80 seniors in our community that come there for fellowship mostly, but also to be provided with opportunity to learn about different things that might be affecting them. If it's health insurance, if it's their own health. And then, I think the most important piece is the fellowship that the senior community that gets to engage with others in that group setting. And that's in the mornings at 5:45 Pershing. And that's been longstanding. I say that's about 45 years that we've been doing that program. There also, we operate our community meals program, which is a program that we've had longstanding as well for over 40 years, that we provide 2 hot meals 6 days out of the week for anybody in the community that has food insecurity. And also with our partners that we work with, the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank, we're able to help families with care packages that they sign up for, and they get, a grocery list of goods that they can have to take home, so that there's not going to be anyone going without a meal. And
that's great.
And so we don't ask any questions. You show up and you tell us that you need a meal. We'll serve you a meal. But what we try to do is to track what your needs are, so that we can and maybe help get out of your situation. And
sure. And that's fantastic.
That's how we try to dissect what is needed with you in that realm. And
where is that? Is that at
It's also at our 545 Pershing facility. where we have a cafeteria there that functions also as the senior center, and and that's also where our outpatient behavioral health function is on the upper floor of that facility. Yep. Like I said, that was our first facility that SACA got started out of, and so it has an extensive use today as well.
That's great, and that's the building, right? That
was the building where
child.
I used to get chased out of. Yes, sir. And, I have fond memories of my other buddies, and one in particular is Dan Betancourt, who's the president and CEO of the Community First Fund. He and I used to run around in there. Yeah, Carlos used to chase us out. Both he and I are we hold Carlos to high esteem and I love mentorship in our life. Yep.
I love it. That's awesome.
So I can keep going, dude, because go
for it. It's your time.
This is what I do, man. So I think on the next list we have like SACA Development. So SACA Development is the entity that owns all the real estate that SACA operates from.
Okay.
As well as we're a developer of affordable housing in our community, mostly in the Southeast. And I'll explain that as well. But one of the other programs that I failed to mention was about 25 years ago, we were part of initiating the partnership charter school, which still exists today. And it's a functional entity that just recently got rechartered by the school district of Lancaster for another 5 years. That's up on our Ann Street property that SACA Development owns. And today we're basically the landlord for the charter school. The charter school has its own board and it operates autonomously outside of SACA. At one point, SACA did the fiscal oversight and management for the charter school. We no longer do that. All we have is a relationship with the charter school as a tenant and a landlord. But we were one of the 4 parties that set up the partnership charter school, being ourselves, SACA, the Urban League, Neighborhood Services. Those 2 entities are no longer in our community. And the other entity was Crispus Attucks, which still is and now is a part of the community partnership CAP. And so, so we have a board seat at the charter school and we continue to do that. But that's the gist of our involvement with the charter school. But we were instrumental in setting that up. And really the students that go there, are folks that come from our neighborhoods here. And so, they've been able to get, proper instruction, at the school there that's allowed most of them to become very successful. So SACA Development, like I said, owns all the properties that SACA has, but we're also a developer, not only a developer of affordable housing, but our development is focused on home ownership opportunities for families that live at 80% or less of median income in our community, to allow them to become homeowners and eventually build equity and commit what we call community wealth over time through home ownership. So over the years that we've been involved in that program, we've developed over 130 rehab resale units in our community. And those units are rehab to a certain standard that go way above and beyond what a regular flipper would do to a property that they want to say they're going to rehab and then, sell to a end user. And I'm not bashing that market segment. Everybody does what they need to do to make money. I don't do it to make money. We do it to provide a safe environment, families that live at that income thresholds, for them to be successful. And so our model is based on creating a property that's going to be 10, 15 year, basically maintenance free and not have issues, over time, and educate the homeowners on what they need to do to maintain the effective age of the property so that it continues to have a long life. And so we have a standard of rehab that captures brand new HVAC, plumbing, electric into these units, new rules. We go in and change the floor plan to make it a more functional floor plan. Most of the housing stock in the city has functional obsolescence, and that means that the floor plan is outdated or the bathroom is too small and not really functional for the current trends that exist. And so we go about trying to change that to provide the end user with a really nice opportunity. So we've done that, but we've also built 78 brand new townhouse units, mostly in Southeast Lancaster, for the same purpose, selling those to first-time home buyers that live at 80% or less of median income, to allow them to, again, build equity over time, that they can become, transfer wealth over time, get out of this cycle of poverty that exists in the community that we serve. And so we are recently completing 9 units at a 2-phase project that's called Conestoga North, that's on Chesapeake Street. That is going to be, when completed, 18 brand new townhouse units. And so we've already pre-sold all the units and are starting to settle some of the units. We just did a settlement on one of the units on Friday, and have another one scheduled for Monday, and then so forth as the units are completed. Then we complete the CO process with the city to get the residents in there. SACA Development is also a commercial property developer, and we developed the property on the corner of South Duke Street and Chesapeake, where at one time there was a nuisance bar there called Miguel's Nightclub. One time there used to also be a dump that people were dumping things at in the 50s and 60s. And I think it was a junkyard or something like that back then. So we took on that task to develop that property. We developed that property and turn it into a commercial center. The intention of helping established neighborhood businesses move to a bigger facility and also a better location that provided ease of access and visibility within terms of parking and all that, so that they can grow and prosper in their business venture. Also, it's a place where we would entertain potentially entrepreneurs that wanted to set up a business there. And so we'll work with different groups in our community to facilitate that to happen. Predominantly the Community First Fund, which is a certified CFI that works in our community to do micro lending to small businesses, but also organizations as Assets and SCORE to help mentor these business owners so that they know what it entails for them to be successful, having a proper business plan and having proper financial records and management of those records as they continue to grow. And so we've done that there. Also up the street, we took a blighted, not a blighted property, but I'd say a property that was a nuisance in the neighborhood as well. We redeveloped that property into a condominium that has a credit union in it, the Belco Credit Union. And also there's a daycare facility that is in the rear portion of the property that provides needed daycare for the residents in our neighborhood up there on North and South Duke Street. The reason we bought that property was because behind it we could build 14 brand new townhouse units. So that's part of that development there. We continue to look for opportunities to be able to build additional new home ownership opportunities. We're currently working on 5 scattered site rehabs of our rehab resale program, and just finishing up that one phase 2 of Conestoga North, where there'll be 9 brand new townhouse units there. So that's what SACA Development does. And I'm willing to work with other members of our community that see the same vision that we have for what home ownership represents for families that live at 80% or less of median income. And so I'm here got, www.sacapa.org is where you can get additional information and be able to reach out to us. But one of the other projects we're working on through SACA Development, through an entity that we developed called Duke Street Plaza LLC, is the location of the Fulton Bank branch that's located on the corner of Chesapeake and South Duke, and where there once used to be an other grocery store that we actually ended up moving to the plaza across the street. Well, that building, we ended up acquiring that building and demoing it, because what we're going to do there is develop another commercial center that's actually a mixed-use project that's going to entail the Fulton Bank branch is going to stay there. We're going to build them a new bank branch. And then we have an LOI with Union Community Care for them to establish an urgent care facility as well as a community pharmacy at the location of the commercial that's being developed on the first floor. And then there'll be 2 other additional commercial spaces that would be available for that same segment of the community that has an established business in our neighborhood here that needs a more functional space for them to be successful and expand their business opportunity. So above those commercial spaces would be 45 workforce housing units. And the reason I say workforce housing units, there's a market niche in the market that's not affordable housing, but it's just above it that represents an opportunity for someone to develop workforce housing for families that live above 80% up to 100% of the median income, which I call the mid-market. And so I'm working on a partnership with a private housing developer to make that happen in the location there. And so there'll be 45 1 and 2 bedroom units that will allow families that live in that income stream to be able to have affordable units. Because right now, those families that live in that income sphere have to pay a high proportion of their income towards housing, and at the intervals that they should be, which is 30, 35%. So some of them are paying 50, 60% of their income. It's going towards that, and that's just not doable. And so the reason why we want to focus on that is because I'm going to talk about my next thing is Tech Central as our workforce development initiative that provides basic skills training as well as specialized training that we have with our partnerships that we have with Harris McGarry Community College and Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology. And so we're training folks for high in demand occupancies that exist in our local economy here, mostly in the allied health field, as well as the trades. And so these programs that we administer at Tech Central run in duration of anywhere from 18 weeks to 6 months. And that's what their aim. Their aim is to address the issue of the underemployment that exists in the marginalized community and folks that really need a second chance in our community that we work with. So basically the target population ranges from 25 and up to about 45 years of age that might be working in a dead-end job that isn't really allowing them to have a sustainable living wage arrangement. And so through our training, we provide that opportunity for them to jump onto a career pathway to allow them to get sustainable living wages. And when that happens, you also get the benefit of getting benefits, which a lot of folks do not have access to. And it really is a transformative thing that's occurring at Tech Central. And so our initial Tech Central is here on Chester, which is right next to my facility where I'm located, the General Cigar Building. At one point, these 2 buildings were neighborhood eyesores, which today are productive locations that are providing tremendous community benefit. And so over there, we have basic skills, ESL instruction, as well as GED instruction. We also want to ensure that there's an opportunity if folks do not want to embark on our training, that we provide, that we're able to be an off-ramp or a bridge to the employment community. So we have employment services there that we provide, that we work with over 200 and companies that are looking for employees. And so we'll try to match up people that come to us. And then we prep them. We make sure that they understand how they need to appear at the with their resume, with how they appear, with how they're clothed, and how to do an interview. And so we'll help them with those steps and get them into the employment, so that otherwise they'll enroll in our programming, and then we'll get them on that track. And so it's really transformative, I would say. And really, when the graduation comes up here in July, I take great pride in seeing the faces of these students and their family members as they see what's going to be happening afterward when they get into their job opportunity. Most of the students end up getting jobs right away after they're completed with the program. Specifically in the trades, there's a big need for trades folk.
Oh, big time.
And so there we're working with commercial, industrial, plumbing, HVAC, and mechanical, electric, which is not what you would think is electric, but it's more of a training to be able to work in a facility that has automated systems, for you to be able to troubleshoot issues that might come up in those systems. And you see those systems prevalent in the manufacturing sector, like say the Kunzler facilities such as the Pepperidge Farm facility, and then of course other warehouse distribution facilities that have automation in them. And those students are joining those companies and making higher than sustainable living wages, actually, with those opportunities. So 85% of the students that come to us graduate,
that's a fantastic number.
It is. And then to top it all off, we do our part to ensure that these folks that come to us are not going to have a tuition bill at the end. And so we raise money in the community through our partnerships that we have, through our business partnerships, the philanthropic community, foundations such as the High Foundation have been instrumental in this program into providing us with funding to help us be able to fund the tuition costs. While that is a successful program, we still do have a waiting list that everybody thinks it's because we're popular, but it's because of the lack of funding that we have to put the class on. So right now we're on a morning schedule, half-day schedule. Preferably, we would like to get to the point that we will have some evening courses as well, because not everybody can take advantage of the morning course idea.
Yeah.
And so as we work along and we continue to develop new approaches and funding sources, and as we continue to build, because we set up an endowment fund that we hope to have it to 10 million within a 5-year period, for it to provide residual income that we can use to fund the tuition costs for students. I think then that's when we're going to get there. We've been successful in attaining a state line item with the legislator legislators, I should say, both parts of the aisle, and
sure.
And so we're going to continue to try to grow that. Off of that came this opportunity to expand our model into the region, and we're doing that in Reading, in York, and in Lebanon, with the communities there that have come to us wanting to borrow our model. And so the network that we've set up is part of the funding mechanism that the state allocation goes for. And so to say that Carlos is going to retire in June is kind of a fib, because he's actually going to oversee the development of the Tech Central regional effort as that continues to grow.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I can imagine it's hard to, just abandon's not the right word, but just kind of walk away and retire and not have any involvement. That's awesome that he's going to continue to have that involvement there and grow Tech Centro. Jose, I'm like blown away with all of the stuff that SACA does. Unbelievable organization. I knew a little bit about SACA, but I didn't know how deep of involvement and all of the different programs and opportunities that you create and the services that you offer. Unbelievable.
So my last thing I wanted to talk to you about is Radio Centro, which is our 36-year-old public Spanish language bilingual station that we operate. And that's a forum for us to put out information into the community. And you know, kind of like this, we try to provide an opportunity for anyone in our community that needs to have a voice to come and speak. We have a flagship program in the mornings called Café con Leche, or coffee with milk. And a whole spectrum of people come there to speak about items that are affecting the community. And just as a way for us to be able to do the outreach and whatnot. And so, you know, our station now has grown with the ability, as part of our strategy planning that we did 3 years ago, was to really enhance its capacity and bring it up to a higher level of technology. And now we brought a whole new digital system in place to help us do that. And today the station can do live streaming on 5 platforms anywhere around the world. All you need is the internet to be able to access it. And then we've also started producing podcasts that are in Spanish language and English as well, about the issues that are affecting the community. Any issue, legal, whatever, we have a podcast that we've developed. And it's been so successful that Pandora reached out to us, wanted to upload our Spanish language podcast on the different topics. And so we're doing that. Yep. And we have a podcasting studio that's available to the community to utilize. That was part of a grant that we were able to facilitate. And so that's part of what we offer to anybody in a neighborhood. Hey, I want to talk about an issue that's happening and I want to do a podcast. All they need to do is call and schedule a time to use our podcasting studio, and we'll help them produce it and push it up to where it needs to be.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
Yep.
And Lancaster can listen, what does it say, 91.3?
Yeah, so we have a frequency here in Lancaster, 91.3, and one in York that's at, I think, 100.3. And the York frequency is not as strong as it needs to be, so that's my next thing to try to fix. And to try to get that to be a more, it doesn't have really good penetration into the city of York.
Okay.
And so like when you get to like Columbia, the station here, the 91.3 kind of fades out. When you cross the river and you get over by like Hellam, the other station kicks in and you can listen to it there. But it simulcasts the station from here.
That's great. So I know we're kind of running out of time. There's so much to talk about.
Talk forever.
But I do want to. You just celebrated 50 years.
Yes.
SACA celebrated 50 years, and I know you had an event maybe last week. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that and kind of what that means.
Sure.
For Lancaster and for SACA, and maybe you have some other events coming up that you'd like to talk about as well.
So, you know, our fiesta, which we had annually until COVID came along and screwed it up in 2020. We hadn't had a fiesta for 3 years. And so, you know, that fiesta represented an event that was actually for our community partners and friends to come and enjoy fellowship with us and have diverse ethnic food that we serve. And that was it. But this year, because we were celebrating our 50th anniversary, we made it a little bit more special. And so we decked out the facility into a 50-year celebratory type of decor and event. And man, it was a huge success. Everybody came
That's
away.
awesome.
I mean, sending me emails telling us how awesome it was, the great time that they had. And so, that's the goal of that event. But this year was special because of our 50th anniversary. And, there's no speeches. There's none of that. We just want you to come and enjoy food and fellowship with our staff and those in the community that are supporters of our mission.
That's great. I didn't have it on the notes here, but you just mentioned your staff, and seeing all of the things that SACA does and ways that they support the community. You must have just an unbelievable staff.
So we have about 90 full and part-time employees.
Wow. Okay.
Well, that we have on the roster because we have a hard time filling all the positions as anybody has since the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now, I think we got about 15 job openings for different positions.
Oh, wow.
That if you go on our website, you can see what they are.
Yeah.
And so, no, the staff is essential. We have staff here that have been here for a long time. And so longevity of staff is a good thing. And, and so, no, we're fortunate to have that. And so, no, kudos to the staff. They put that together and it was a great event.
That's awesome. Do you have any other events or
one
any
of the other events
fundraising?
I did want to mention is that our partnership with the Lancaster Barnstormers is allowing us to have a SACA day at the Barnstormers on June 25th.
Cool.
And it's to acknowledge our 50 year in the community, but it's also going to be an opportunity for us to acknowledge our CEO and retiring CEO and founder Carlos at that event. And so we want the entire community to come to that and be supportive of what SACA's mission is and work in our community. And so we're looking forward to that. There's going to be some other event that we're going to do in the late fall with regard to our Pershing Avenue facility, naming of it. But I'll keep that under wraps until
there you go. That's cool. And last thing to mention here, obviously SACA can't function without funding and volunteers. Yep. And you mentioned earlier, I think I'm sure you will accept donations.
100%. And if anybody wants to come visit, I also give you that opportunity. One of the things I enjoy doing is going on a tour, because I can sit here and talk about this stuff all day. Seeing it in actual practice is another thing. And so,
yeah, that's true.
Before I met you guys, I was taking somebody on a tour that's new to our community that wanted to learn more. And we do that on a weekly basis. I'd say twice a week with individuals. So all they need to do is reach out to me, reach out to our contact information that's on our website, and eventually I'll get it and I'll reach out and schedule a time.
That's great. Now, there's no rock throwing during the tours.
No. I'm kind of done doing that. Kind of learned my lesson. That ends up costing money to make facilities properly. Yes.
That's great. That's great. Well, this has been an awesome time getting to know you a little bit, getting to know SACA and all the great things that you do at the Spanish American Civic Association. Just unbelievable reach that your organization has. I love the Tech Centro part of it, and of course the affordable housing. I know is a huge component and benefit to the Lancaster community. Yep. You ready for the? Oh yeah. Any last comments on SACA?
The next steps for this organization is to continue to have impact, in the lives of the community that we serve, in positive ways, so that it changes and transforms their lives for the better. And I know that's kind of like a big answer type thing, but it matches my big vision for what we need to continue to do and accelerate in our community. And
That's awesome.
yeah, so I'm full tilt on this thing. This is my last job, man. And
there you go.
So yeah, I just celebrated my birthday on Saturday, and
okay,
my wife, we just got to do this for a little bit more. And
yeah, so you share a birthday with my son Julian. He just turned 9, so you guys are just a few years apart. So
a few, dude.
Well, Jose, thank you so much. I wish you a lot of luck with SACA. Just got a few minutes left here. We'll do our connection cocktail questions here. Get to know our guests a little bit more. What is your favorite thing to do in Lancaster?
So, one of the things my wife liked to do is to go shop local small businesses. I think it's important for us to support that initiative. In the age of all the box retailers and all the online things, it is critical that we support small business entrepreneurs in their endeavors. So we seek out those types of businesses. And in particular, we actually like supporting the artists in our community as well.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I love the part, the show earlier where we were talking about the retail opportunities that you've developed and encourage local small businesses to start businesses or relocate businesses within the community to a better spot. That's awesome. Do you have a favorite restaurant in Lancaster?
Yeah. So, when I lived in Lancaster previously, I owned a property up on East James Street up by the hospital. We enjoyed when they opened the Belvedere restaurant.
Oh,
up there on East Lemon and, is it East? West Lemon? East Lemon, because it's on the other side of Queen Street.
Yeah.
And, and so, that still is one of our favorite restaurants. We actually went there for our anniversary dinner. And, because they too were celebrating their anniversary, significant anniversary, 25 years.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah. Great place. One of our employees, Drew here, he's a fan of the Belvedere.
Yep.
So that's a pretty good spot. And do you have an annual event?
Yeah,
that
we
like
enjoy going to the Longs Park art show that's there.
Okay. Yeah.
I know it's kind of like a national show that comes in town, but we've always enjoyed that at the latter part of the summer.
That's great. We actually, our guest next week is the Longs Park, Association or Amphitheater.
Sure.
I can't think the right name of the group, but it's the organization that puts on the Long Park shows and whatnot. So we're excited to talk to them. So, well, Jose, this has been great. Great to get to know you. Great to get to know SACA and all the wonderful things that you do. Thank you so much for being on the show. I wish you all the luck in the world in this venture as Carlos retires and you kind of take full reins there. Just unbelievable what you guys are doing there.
Ben, thank you for this opportunity. I really am honored to have been allowed to talk about the great work that SACA does and has done in this community.
Yep. Well, you're welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you.
And we'll talk again.
Yes, sir.
Yep. See ya. All right. Well, that was awesome. Like I said, with Jose, I knew a little bit about SACA. But when we had the opportunity to have him on the show and doing more research, I knew that there was a lot of programs and services offered. But hearing Jose speak about it, just like you can feel his energy and his passion for helping the community that supported him when he was a youngster. So really, really cool that he's in the role that he's in going forward. And I wish them a lot of luck. Like I said. Well, we are kind of over our time. Just do a couple of quick things. I think we'll bypass our testimonial for Gardener's Mattress and More. We have a few that we can share, but we'll share them in future shows, and we'll bypass the sleep tip. I did want to mention a couple things. We've got a couple of community happenings. I think I can say that. Jeff and I have friends in the Lancaster community who are realtors. Chuck and Janet Seark. There's some information there on the screen. They founded Lancaster Estate Solutions, which you see their logo in the upper left of that flyer. And they also are EXP Realtors. They have a seminar that you can attend on May 25th at the Manheim Township Public Library. It's from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's a complimentary information session called Downsizing Made Easy. Basically learn tips and tricks on how to downsize quickly and easily, and have a Q&A with a panel of experts. They have a few experts there. Janet Sierk, of course, is one of them. Diane Levinson from Diane's Life Solutions, and Stephanie Giammatteo, who we know from Fairway Mortgage. So a few different people in the home buying and downsizing landscape, if you will speak there. And of course, there's information there. So again, that's Monday, May 25th at the Manheim Township Public Library. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, we don't have a graphic for it, but a couple years ago, we had a charity on the show called the Team Jennifer Cahill Charities. I'm just going to read it here because it says it better than I can say it. Team Jennifer Cahill Charities is a leading organization dedicated to supporting female veterans and ensuring their dignified final arrangements and funerals. They are proud to announce the celebration of their first ever Women's Veterans Day in Pennsylvania. So that's pretty cool. Momentous occasion will take place on June 10th, 2023 at the Kissel Valley Farm from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Kissel Valley Farm is up near the Lancaster Airport, kind of near Penn Cinema. A lot of people know where that is. This time will serve as a platform to honor the extraordinary service and sacrifice. There we go. Yeah. And sacrifice of female veterans while raising awareness about their unique needs. Also, just a few details about the event. The Women's Veterans Day event. Gosh, just read the words, Ben. To be held on June 10th, 2023 will feature a diverse range of activities and programs designed to celebrate the accomplishments of female veterans and create a supportive environment to address their specific needs. One of the highlights of this event will be a courtesy luncheon provided exclusively for female veterans, catered by Mission Barbecue, as a gesture of appreciation for their service and dedication. Chris, is that a homepage, or maybe a Facebook page? I bet if you Google Jennifer Cahill Charities in Lancaster, there it is, teamjennifercahillcharities.org. You can get more information on that great event. First ever event of its kind here in Pennsylvania, which is really, really cool. So praying for great weather for that. And, that'll be, I think, the show. We'll spin the prize later. We got a couple of commenters there. Again, commenting wins you prizes, some Less Snore, More Cuddle drinkware, or the on-the-go bundle. Let's give it a spin. Pick a winner here. Brand Nerd. I don't know who that is. It's always funny when somebody comes on with not their real name. You know who they are. Lena is a great supporter of the show, great supporter of gardeners, and of course, represents a wonderful charity off the streets. They help battle homelessness in Lancaster County. Fantastic organization. So, Lena, come in, tell us you won a gift on the show, and you can pick out your gift here. I think that's it. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thank you to our guest, Jose Lopez from SACA, the Spanish American Civic Association. Check them out at SACA.org. And, again, give them support there, with either a financial donation or volunteering, or, just sharing their stuff on Facebook, and social media platforms really helps these organizations a lot. So, all right, I think we're done. Thanks so much. Until the next connection.